Hello, my name is Lashai Huntley, and I'll be doing this presentation on gentrification. Gentrification can be defined as the redevelopment of poor and working class neighborhoods into middle and upper middle class, which often causes displacement of its original residents. Gentrification is a general term for the arrival of wealthier people in the existing urban district, a related increase in rents and property values, as well as change in the district's character and culture. As with any social problem, there are both pros and cons to gentrification. The positives of gentrification is it could eliminate gang violence within that neighborhood, strengthen the local economy, encourage diversity in neighborhoods separated by racial lines, and decrease crime and increase property values as well as taxes. When you have positives, you also will have negatives. And some of the negatives are this can lead to displacement, eviction, forced homelessness, police violence, destroyed communities, as well as can cause conflict and the clashing between classes instead of bringing people together as a community. So let's take a look at the system blame approach. The system blame approach is the assumption that social problems result from societal conditions and inequality. The system blame approach to this social problem is the thought that society is to blame for gentrification and that individuals are not held responsible. Gentrification can be viewed using this approach because neighborhoods are being targeted based on economic status and takes advantage of the working and poor class who cannot afford the higher cost of living after the redevelopment and are forced to move. So once we talked about the system blame approach, we have to talk about the person blame approach. The person blame approach. This approach often ignores the strains that are caused by inequality, and it frees the government, the economy, and the educational system from blame or responsibility. Gentrification cannot really be viewed using the person blame approach because, in my opinion, there's not much that can be done with the residents of the neighborhood's economic status. Some blame can be put on the landlord and owners of the property due to the increase of wanting more money at the expense of others' pain and struggles. Gentrification's relations to neighborhood and city health. This was one of the scholarly articles that I found using the database, and I pointed out three important things from this article. One of the things was findings from the research stated in the article that residents of the neighborhoods experiencing gentrification reported better physical health outcomes than those living in neighborhoods that had not. Gentrification is not associated with urban health inequalities, but more so offers highly localization to the neighborhoods which are being gentrified. Gentrification is associated with a change in the class and racial compositions of neighborhood residents in addition to features of the physical space such as changes in their local stores and improvements to the local area. The effects of gentrification. When it comes to gentrification, it could be more of a positive than a negative to homeowners because as the property value increase, they are more likely to sell at the end, making money. But for those who are renting, they're losing out and are forced to settle for cheaper rent in a different home or to become homeless. According to Pedia in her article, she states that gentrification poses an issue when there is an imbalance in spending, meaning that when one area is being remodeled, another is being neglected, and the residents from the old neighborhood are then forced to move to the poorly invested area. Also stated by the author, gentrified neighborhoods attract white families, which causes minority groups to be displaced because they are no longer able to live comfortably. Gentrification effects on education. Higher income families moving into lower income neighborhoods will give low income students a chance to meet children with different backgrounds than their very own, creating diversity. The increase of middle and upper class families will cause schools to see a change in resources and the overall quality of their education. Also, with the increase of higher income families, there becomes a chance of these families enrolling their students into charter or private schools. With the possible increase of these students, from higher income families, there is also the possibility of students who come from low income families to either fall behind or feel out of place. How can society remedy the problem? Gentrification occurs in mostly low income or abandoned areas, and in my opinion, if the residents of that area come together as a community and work together, they can make the neighborhood untouchable by simply doing some of these things. Supporting their local and small businesses, clean up the streets and prevent the high levels of crime and violence, fixing the problems that they see and are able to gain control before they get out of hand, and become a united front. And that concludes my presentation. Here are the slides of my references, and thank you for listening.